This is the artificial intelligence voice of Samir narrating this pod slice summary of the Colin and Samir podcast. The conversation with Colin, Samir and Emma Chamberlain discusses Emily's changing relationship with YouTube and her evolving sense of self. Emma has throttled back from uploading 4 videos per month for 55 consecutive months, currently decreasing her presence significantly down to 3 uploads this year. Chamberlain candidly discusses her complex relationship with YouTube, describing it as loving yet complicated. She expresses feelings of still being in the industry, even if not as heavily involved, citing that her experiences with YouTube have fundamentally altered her perception of the platform. Their discussion delves into Emma's creative evolution and her current state of transition. She is hungry for a change, which has been reflected in recent videos that emphasize creating a feeling. She explains her struggle with not letting her personality shine through under this format and her difficulty aligning her current adult self with her former content. This struggle underscores her decision to step back, and she emphasizes she must be okay with others perceiving this as her quitting the vlogging game. She further describes her presence, arguing that while she has stepped back from vlogging, she is still highly active on Spotify, Instagram, and at various fashion events. In essence, her fans are merely interacting with her in a different manner. Her vulnerability hasn't disappeared, but it has shifted from outward displays to more introspective sharing on her podcast. Emma's openness on camera, alluded to by Mr. Beast as something he could not replicate, is credited to her childhood, where she was encouraged to be open about her imperfections by her parents. This oversharing tendency followed her into adulthood and has informed her connection with the audience through a major point made about her journey is her relationship with rejection and validation. Having always been the last choice for boys in school instilled in her the need to present her true self in preventing later rejections. The need for control ultimately played a role in her turning to the creative field, where she could control the perception of her image. In analyzing the shift in her videos to fewer words in titles and less talking at the start, Colin relates this change to Emma's growing sense of an ever-present audience, hinting at the third person she had created in her life. Emma continues to elaborate on her changing relationship with YouTube and her audience. She reflects on the period during the pandemic where she was filmed at home in less jovial circumstances than before, describing it as a time when she was less happy and didn't feel like she could share that feeling with her audience. Viewership began to shift negatively whenever she spoke about mental health struggles, which in turn left her feeling as if she couldn't admit to her depression anymore. She talks about how the platform has been a way for her to express herself and has turned into an addiction due to its deeply ingrained nature in her identity and career. Colin and Samir suggest that YouTube is a mirror where creators can project the exploration of their identities and receive feedback from it. As she describes her drifting from doing concept-based videos to more authentic content, she underscores the importance of knowing when something is done and knowing when to stop overshooting. She laments that YouTube and independent creators don't get definite seasons or definite end dates, which highlights the endless cycle of content creation, increasing the pressure for creators. Thus, Emma trusts her intuition to step back against what the public demand might suggest. With regards to her relationship with her audience, Emma acknowledges that her connection with her audience is unique. Her videos gave them a sense of her as their best friend. This has led to an expectation from them for her to be a certain type of friend, and also a backlash when she deviates from that image. She, however, reassures that she's still the same person, just presenting herself in a different format. Thus, this discussion serves as an introspective look at how the digital social relationship between an online influencer and her audience is navigated and redefined over time. In this intricate dialogue, Emma Chamberlain opens up about her creative journey, the pressure of originality, and her transition into mainstream arenas like fashion and show business. Discussing her early inspirations, she shares how editing dance routine videos with her friends in high school led to the unique editing style she's become known for, characterized by spontaneous zoom-ins and punch-outs for emphasis. When her innovative style started being replicated, Emma admittedly grappled with feelings of frustration as an authentic part of her creativity was being questioned and rewritten as an internet trend. This was one of her first brushes with online backlash, painting a picture of the challenges emerging creators face. Further into the conversation, Emma emphasizes the blend of creativity and strategy in what she calls the abstract and blurred space of online content creation, which often comes with uncertainty and fear of being copied. Yet, true to her perspective, she appreciates this industry for celebrating individuality. She believes that despite likeness and content styles, each creator brings a unique personality to the table, making them irreplaceable. Accessing her ventures into the world of high fashion and appearances at events like the Met Gala, Emma conveys that while the environments at such events may feel different, the human experience remains similar. Her content around these experiences comprises both aspirational, unattainable moments and highly relatable personal ones, amplifying the viewer's sense of proximity to her. By taking her audience along with her in these personal journey-style narratives while aiming to keep the content grounded, Emma manages to blur the line between her as a YouTube personality and as a figure finding her place in a more traditional celebrity environment. To guest on the Colin and Samir podcast, dive deep into the perils and charms of internet fame while hosting a conversation with the renowned social media influencer, Emma Chamberlain. Chamberlain discusses her struggle in identifying her position amidst the online space and the mainstream industry. She even acknowledges how bemusing it is when she gets recognized for her diverse professional presentations ranging from YouTuber to fashion icon. The comic timing of Colin and Samir enacts when they talk about having a map that charters Chamberlain's digital journey and evolution, suggesting how new digital content creators are constantly dealing with the fluctuating online reputation. Chamberlain brings attention to her entrepreneurship move, her coffee company and podcast alongside her YouTube content creation. This multi-line strategy, albeit might seem random to an onlooker, forms a significant part of her brand's versatility. The conversation navigates to the subject of endorsements and brand collabs. With an unerring focus on integrity, Emma shares her preference for partnering with a brand only if she genuinely admires their products, regardless of the monetary benefits. This approach helps her create authentic content where she can assume absolute creative control and present the product through my lens. Chamberlain applauds the flexibility of podcasting for collaborations since the lack of visuals reduces constraints in brand integration. Chamberlain unfolds her meticulous thought process involved in nurturing the Emma Chamberlain brand. A product of an artist father, Chamberlain's awareness about monetizing art and creativity was acute, despite the familial financial constraints. Seeing her affluent peers fostered a sense of longing and inferiority years later, which played a significant role in shaping her relationship with money and success. The podcast takes a turn to discuss the concept of money and success. Emma Chamberlain, who began making money on YouTube at a young age, shares her experience of unexpectedly earning through AdSense. Initially, she didn't aspire to earn from YouTube. Rather, the monetary involvement came as a sudden surprise, but other creators feeling the same way were helped by her courage. Emma's journey to financial independence was a whirl of emotions. At 17, she was able to move out on her own, buying her necessary items. However, she quickly realized that the accumulation of wealth did not improve her life. She argues that money only enhances happiness to a point, a threshold she crossed during. She reminisces about her artist father, who taught her contentment doesn't necessarily derive from wealth. Instead, it stems from fulfilling creative endeavors and maintaining a healthy life outside work. Continuing on the topic of money, Emma reveals a somewhat unorthodox approach to her finances. Despite having systems in place to manage her financial affairs, she chooses not to be aware of the exact amount she possesses. Choosing to never check her bank account, she believes that it omits the possibility of being influenced by the amount of money she has, ensuring that her choices or desires are not ruled by wealth. Emma also addresses the psychological aspect of wealth, viewing it as the unchecked pursuit of making the numbers go up. Her approach is to operate as if the numbers don't matter, ensuring she doesn't fall into the trap of chasing wealth through increased purchasing power. A sense of moderation guides her spending, with her house being described as her only splurge. She emphasizes the importance of understanding enough. Knowing what you need to be comfortable can provide a clear picture of personal financial goals. Emma's candid conversation around money gives an insight into the life of a successful YouTube creator, touching on the challenges of choosing creativity over money and the intricacies of understanding personal financial desires in the course of growing success. The conversation veers into Emma Chamberlain's explorations outside YouTube, tooling with fashion, photography, and her coffee business, Chamberlain Coffee. Chamberlain admits to experiencing a refreshing shift in the creative canvas these ventures offer. Interestingly, she also shows an inclination toward acting, a feat she always dismissed earlier. As Chamberlain grows up, she reckons acting could be creatively fulfilling, mainly as it would allow her not to be herself for a change. Colin and Samir draw attention to the broad range of roles and responsibilities a YouTube creator has to juggle. Chamberlain's interest in directing surfaces, pointing the spotlight to a potential shift behind the scenes. A significant revelation follows as Chamberlain classifies the stigma around YouTubers transitioning into traditional entertainment. Adding a fresh perspective, she discusses how she perceives others thread the transition owing to the desire to make it big, striving to prove themselves beyond their established YouTube personas. Underlining her different approach, Chamberlain asserts that if she were to act, its sole purpose would be to satiate a creative desire, not to validate her career. Further, Emma shares her experience of acting in a commercial for Warby Parker for a glasses collection she designed. The zest of slipping into a different character intrigued her. Through the conversation, Chamberlain confronts the looming possibility of judgment if she pivots to acting. Nevertheless, the condition she sets is that she must be genuinely good at acting, else it becomes an authentic move visible to the audience. As the narrative continues, the conversation also touches upon aspects like school experiences, personal epiphanies, theories on success, viewer-audience dichotomy, and empowerment gained from pursuing creative fulfillment. Overall, the conversation unfurls Chamberlain's fresh perspective on transitioning into traditional forms of entertainment. Breaking away from the typical narrative, she articulates her desire for growth that is conducive to creativity rather than validation or status enhancement. The discourse gravitates towards the creative rigmarole that follows YouTube creation, and Emma divulges the challenges owing to its isolative nature. Handling filming alone steers into a complicated sphere once it becomes public, and not all enjoy the exposure that comes with being in a video. Chamberlain also unmasks her preference for working in teams and the vital role it plays in sparking creativity. Depicting a sharp contrast, she clarifies the value of podcasting, which provides the luxury of time for herself and resonates with her tendency to stay indoors. Adding more substance to this discussion, she explores the impact of video on podcasting. Surprisingly, both Emma and the hosts agree that audio output is more authentic when video gets detached from the equation. Reasoning this inclination, Emma states that video engages more senses and is consuming while audio can be enjoyed passively during mundane tasks, thereby forming a deeper connection. Moving towards an intriguing segment, Emma opens up about her decision to delete TikTok, unraveling the toxic environment it fostered. As an addictive platform, she found it inundated her with unnecessary information, misguided advice, and damaging narrative. A deluge of chatter about her also invaded her feed, striking a titanic blow to her mental health. Emma refers to TikTok as information cocaine, outlining its fast, jolting influence in stark contrast to YouTube's more leisurely, strategically paced information wine. While tying these discussions together, Emma emphasizes her value-based approach to content creation. Her journey as an entrepreneur seen as an extension of the same philosophy where she's strongly vested in and invested in Chamberlain Coffee, significantly differentiating it from a brand deal or a merch line. Here, she prefers to be hands-on at every stage, whether it's with product development or retail discussions. She hints at her growing passion for business fueled by the growth of Chamberlain Coffee, which takes up 40% of her working time. The other significant chunk occupied by her podcast, demonstrating how her creative energies are now being channelized and diversified. The podcast then pivots towards assessing the nitty-gritty of entrepreneurship and its intersection with creativity. Emma delves into her experience investing in Chamberlain Coffee, both in terms of finances and effort. She encapsulates this journey as somewhat of a passion project, one fraught with uncertainties and contingencies. Operating a business isn't just cutthroat. It's a battle for market share, for customers, and for retail shelf space. The potentiality of the business going under is a risk that accompanies every decision and step. The hosts bring in references from other industries, such as Jimmy's Feast to Bees and Logan's stint with Prime, painting a ruthless picture of businesses fighting against legacy brands resistant to ceding their thrones. Yet the resilience and innovation of homegrown internet kids disrupt these spaces, offering hope and inspiration. Emma's commitment to Chamberlain Coffee isn't just about profit. She aims to develop it into a standalone brand that can sustain its own identity outside her influence. This entrepreneurial journey, the co-parenting of her business baby with a team, evokes a plethora of emotions within her, from stress to satisfaction. Furthermore, she doesn't underplay the inherent difficulties, from managing team dynamics to handling responsibilities that could directly impact the company's fortunes. Emma equated her entrepreneurial journey to a marriage. It's a commitment that begins with the enamor of a novel idea, but evolves into a strenuous daily practice over years, testing one's perseverance. Her desire to see Chamberlain Coffee thrive outside her shadow comes with a gut-wrenching realization that it also might not. The world of business, she states, is indifferent to feelings and entrepreneurs' aspirations. This underlying fear is interwoven within her daily operations, justifying the allocation of 40 of her work time to the coffee venture. The hosts then segue into a discussion on the evolving landscape of YouTube. Emma feels that the platform's dynamism is in a state of limbo. The era of vlogging, where creators projected authentic selves, replacing the meticulously formatted content earlier, seems to be waning. The conversation echoes that YouTube might be entering a phase of videos, not creators, marking a shift back to lean experiences where viewers seek the video of the moment instead of particular creators. Emma Chamberlain, a personality synonymous with the transformative real era of YouTube, introspects on the platform's current state. She believes that the platform is going through a transitional phase, albeit an ambiguous one. Reflecting on the changing YouTube consumption patterns, the hosts and Emma resonate with the perception of YouTube as a selector, presenting the user what's trending rather than focusing on the creators. This change, they remark, is similar to the evolution of music consumption through Spotify, where numerous songs are known, yet the artists remain unfamiliar. Trio feels the creators now need to segregate their creations from the influence of viewership or other external parameters and focus on their individualistic expression. Emma further discusses this in terms of her own social media growth, which, even though is currently negative, is seen as a transition to a new audience base that aligns with the changing content she produces. For her, this experience has been a moment of liberation where she has willingly embraced change despite the fear of being irrelevant or losing followers. Expanding on this discussion on the peaks and troughs of creative growth, Emma Chamberlain, a popular podcaster and YouTuber, delves into her own experiences. There's a certain fearlessness in her acceptance of her current plateau or decline in growing her online popularity. It's not seen as a setback, but rather a testament to her focus on personal creative fulfillment rather than gaining fame or growing her follower counts. In fact, Emma has been exploring different avenues of showbiz intensely, driven by her desire to evolve and expand creatively. Reflecting on her personal brand value, both the hosts and Emma explore the reality of being a post-platform creator. In the eyes of these successful content creators, even if you're not actively posting content, you still possess influence and relevance in your follower base. This is particularly true for popular people like Emma, who could refrain from posting anything on Instagram or YouTube for months, yet still retain the attention of millions. This leaves room for flexibility and an ability to return to creating content when inspiration strikes without the fear of losing relevance. When it comes to income, Emma openly shares that her podcast is indeed her primary source, with her identifying as a podcaster above all else. Podcasting, she explains, is a different variety of challenging compared to other mediums she's worked with. The conversation then turns towards public performance and the possibility of taking a podcast on tour. Emma isn't enthusiastic about this idea, indicating her slight aversion to public speaking and a preference for creating content in her own space where she feels most comfortable. Moreover, the subjects of YouTube content creation and viewership are dissected. The trio agrees that making a YouTube video diverges greatly from just creating video content due to the implications of the platform, its distribution, and viewership standards. Emma emphasizes the need to respect one's intuition, recounting instances when she uploaded content against her internal compass, leading to a backlash from her audience. Yet the beauty of YouTube and its longevity is recognized. The ability to hibernate creatively is mentioned as valued periods, where content creators can take a step back, reassess their creative approach, absorb new inspirations, and return to the platform more rejuvenated. It is during these quiet phases that creators like Emma can create, compile, and hopefully share more timeless content in the form of books, which can serve as a long-standing representation of their identity and creative journey. Exploring different perspectives regarding creativity and content production, the hosts, Colin and Samir, and their guest, Emma Chamberlain, share some meaningful insights. Emma admits to having an innate need for creativity and measures her success by her personal fulfillment in her creative works. This perspective, as she explains, allows her to have control over her projects while maintaining a genuine connection with her audience. Moreover, reflecting on her journey as a YouTuber, Emma acknowledges that her influence and relevance are no longer confined to posting frequent content. While she admits to being more focused on her podcasting, her YouTube influence remains. Exploring the depth of her podcasting journey, Emma admits to different types of challenges it bears compared to other content mediums. In an intriguing confession, Emma expresses her aversion to public speaking and her preference for creating content in spaces where she feels most comfortable. Moving into discussions about YouTube content creation and viewership, the conversation underscores the unique implications of the platform, its distribution, and viewership standards. Emma emphasizes the need to respect one's intuition, recounting instances where she uploaded content against her internal compass, leading to negative repercussions. Talking about mental health, Emma shares struggles with anxiety and depression. She reveals how her career, which was initially a way to cope with depression, became a source of it, adding a layer of emotional depth to her experiences as an online influencer. As Emma navigates the dynamic landscape of creative growth, she speaks to a constant, her unwavering dedication to her own authenticity and creative fulfillment. She endorses the idea of creative hibernation, a time where content creators take a step back, reassess their creative approach, absorb new inspirations, and return to their platforms more rejuvenated. Lastly, the conversations about the concept of being a post-platform creator and Emma's expansive creative journey lay the groundwork for exploring the interplay between personal growth, content creation, and audience engagement. These conversations offer an illuminating look into the life and mind of an influencer who navigates change with fearlessness and authenticity. Emma's unique narrative provides a blueprint for those aiming to strike a balance between personal fulfillment and professional success in the realm of digital content creation.